I eat my toast as they count the dead. Suppress a ripple of abstract grief with every obnoxious tick of the metronomic counter. Held hostage by aquatic anxiety, in time I know 10,000 ripples fashion a wave, and no tower will be immune. The flood came suddenly. A primal fury untethered from the sky, it ripped across the globe like dusk. A pestilence passed from latitude to longitude, an unwanted gift. There were warnings, yes, but the alarms rang in foreign languages, and how were we to know what they were saying? We observed the water levels rise with ethnological pleasure, dispassionately noted the details as it enveloped the famous streets of ancient cities, pointing to the clavicles of the great buildings we had gazed upon 10 summers hence, a Polaroid recollection of submerged beauty, stripped to skeleton. But it was still not enough for us to accept the forthcoming reality, dismissed as a foreign language feature, when it was instead a trailer, coming soon to a country near you. But we were taught to only believe what we can see. We saw soon enough. It didn't take long to make landfall. From abstruse concept to brutal verity, a tide of panic, uncontrollable, unmistakable, unprecedented. Now we live in thrall of the flood, inhabit the icy folds, pull the surf around us like a blanket. My flat is filled with it. My clothes are damp from it. I ship it out in buckets, but it returns to me a persistent drip, drip, drip of dread. And so I learn to live in the water, go about my day in the deep end. I eat my toast as they count the dead. After the flood, there will be an armada of bodies washed upon the shore, evidence of when the levee broke and the Clyde burst its banks, overflowing with the forgotten fathers of abandoned care homes. After the flood, the guillotines will be sharpened with the cursed names of every politician who stood in the way, of every billionaire who turned a profit, of every individualist who barricaded themselves inside, hid behind piles of privilege as their neighbours drowned. After the flood, we will rebuild the bridges of humanity in simple sustainability, with no pressure to recreate the systems that conceived this chaos, but instead live within the everyday alchemy of being, treat the tenets of our home like a temple. After the flood, we will ring bells across this land, in triumph and in mourning. A wake-up call to humanity, a harbinger of the fight to come. We will lay out the corpses as a border for the new world, recite their names as a battle hymn. Grateful for our shelter when it came, and forever mindful of the eventual cascade that will one day sweep us all away.